The 2026 FIFA World Cup meal at McDonald's is underway with one of 9 legendary cups in the lineup. Christian Pulisic, David Beckham, Lamine Yamal, Ronaldinho, Thierry Henry, Son Heung-min, Alphonso Davies, Santi Jimenez. And between the posts, it's Grimace. Get one of 9 collectible cups with a FIFA World Cup meal. At participating McDonald's for a limited time while supplies last. All rights reserved. 2026 McDonald's at FIFA World Cup 2026.
This episode is brought to you by Prime. What if you had one more chance with the one that got away?
Sam, you came home.
Based on the best-selling novel from Carly Fortune. Every Year After follows childhood friends Sam and Percy as they reunite in the dreamy, nostalgic lakeside town of Barry's Bay.
Love can be hard to find. So if you're lucky enough to find that person, never let go.
A second chance at first love. Every Year After, now streaming only on Prime.
Hello.
Welcome to a brand new episode of But Am I Watching?
And you should know how important this is, everyone, because we record both of our podcasts, each episode, one episode of Don't Blame Me, one episode of Am I Watching, every time we record. And you should know that we are switching the order and we are recording But Am I Watching first? Because I don't know that I can get through an entire video call with Melissa without bringing it up.
So we video call.
I know, but I was like, it's not a Zoom technically.
No.
But like, and I also
just
don't
a
want to
podcast recording.
Great. I didn't want to give the platform a shout out because God, we fucking hate them.
I made it generic.
Okay, good.
Mm-hmm.
Because we have to talk about this.
Yeah.
I personally, and I don't speak for both of us because, you know, you've got your own feelings. I have to give a massive disclaimer that if you feel precious about this media, I might hurt your feelings. And I will say that I believe in intelligent hating. Like, I believe in, like, intelligent criticism. So
it's criticism. Like,
I promise everyone that I am not going to stop watching the show. I only made it through 2 episodes. I have every intention to finish watching it because I want to be educated in my opinions. Like, I don't think it's fair for me to come on here with these because also, like, maybe a lot of people have opinions after X amount of times or whatever. And it's not all bad, what I have to say whatsoever, but it's not all good. And I am very precious about certain media of mine. I won't let Mott's criticize it. So if you feel this way about this show, totally entitled to that. But you have been warned.
I agree. I don't think I'll be as critical because I made it to episode 3.
Yes.
And I think that is a turning point for the show, not necessarily for the characters that we see. And I'll get to that in a second. I do also want to add that my counter was all off on my albuterol, so I'm out of it. So I'm raw dogging it. So if I have to take a break or you hear extra wheeziness, I'm not completely raw dogging because I do have
because she finds it
I have the steroid inhaler, but the one that helps with the day-to-day is out.
Well, actually, guys, everyone, I don't know that we even said what show we're doing. We watched Heated Rivalry. Again, Melissa made it through 3 episodes. I made it through 2. And for that, I can blame my in-laws. Love them to death. They've been here this week, and I will not watch it with them around.
I don't know how. I had to look up the date because I remembered I was still on TikTok when it came out. And I was like, I feel like it was Christmas time. It came out at the end of November. Probably picked up steam December-ish. So how are people watching this with their parents and grandparents? I distinctly remember one girl that was watching it with her grandmother, and they'd seen it like 3 times at that point. How are you sitting down to watch this with anybody that you're not having sex with?
Like,
I say that I will never watch Bridgerton with my mother either. Like, I will not watch things with my parents that have sex in them. How?
I would probably more likely watch. I'm trying to remember what season of Bridgerton. Not definitely all of them, but like, you know, I could
watch episodes, but
yes,
not.
But like this, I'm like, there's no way that you like imagine just being, and maybe this is why that girl reads her smut books on live, and everybody's like, I love it. I'm like, you love watching this girl get horned up on the pages of her paperback?
She's not even reading it out loud. She's just silently reading
and smiling,
you're just watching her shift in her seat.
Yeah, you guys are cucks. All of you are motherfucking cucks. And that's fine, but you have to put a label on it. Put a label on it. Define it. Define the relationship. Cucks. And that's fine.
So Heated Rivalry is based on the second book in a larger series by Rachel Reed. This is the second book called Game Changers. The first book follows Scott Hunter and Kip Grady, which we've already met Scott in the show. But episode 3 is just focused on them. And I say, why didn't it start with them? Because I like them way more.
Wait, maybe that's the one that Kyle was telling me that I just have to get. He's like, you just watch one episode. Is it theirs or is theirs 5?
I think if you're talking about The Cottage, that's later.
No. I'm talking about the one with the 2 guys who are not the main characters.
3.
Okay, so
that's the next episode.
That's what Kyle told me. He's like 3 is like that's like as a standalone episode.
I don't understand why we didn't just start with them.
Yeah, I don't know. That's all of my male gay friends. That's the one that's the episode that they love. And I'm not putting anyone, no one's a monolith. My personal male gay friends are not fans of this show. They are fans of episode 3 and have told me to watch episode 3. And I'm like, okay. So that I thought I had to get to 5.
No.
And so I would have powered through last night I actually couldn't because I did fall asleep. But had I known, maybe I would have like tried to stay awake a little bit more, knowing that was right around the corner.
Yeah, it's better. And I like them better. I like their vibe better, everything about them. I don't like this trope that our main characters for this season. I don't know if they're changing up seasons. It doesn't seem like they're moving away. I don't like this trope. I don't like asshole and the kind, good-hearted person. I don't like that trope at all. So I don't get it. But like I said, I'm going to keep watching. We'll power through and we'll talk about this episode. So we start with Ilya and Shane. Ilya's smoking outside. Shane walks over to introduce himself. This is their first time meeting, as shortly before their first game against each other. And there's some tension. Ilya's smoking and Shane doesn't like that and keeps telling it's bad. Shane is trying to be like real nice to him, and Ilya's just being an asshole, which we hear a million times. You're an asshole. If I took a shot every time they said asshole in this series,
I'd be at your funeral. Rest in peace.
Mm-hmm.
We wouldn't be recording this episode. I would be above a grave.
Right.
She died doing what she loves. Assholes. Like, I have to say though, and I'm already gonna piss you guys off. I think this is one of the worst openings for a show I've ever seen. And I mean that like wholly and sincerely. I rewound because I thought I missed something.
I did too, but I think that is something that they do throughout the show as a whole. I thought when I watched episode 1, I was like, did I miss something? Episode 2, I was also like, did I miss something? Did I start in the middle of the episode? Episode 3 picks up in a part during episode 2. So I was like, did I accidentally rewind and I'm watching this again?
Like, I would love if Dan Fogelman did like a masterclass on how to make a timeline in a TV show, because I cannot stress how much I fucking hate that. I told Mott's that we go through 2.5 years in episode 1. And he was like, what do you mean? I go, yeah, but here's the thing. We go in increments, always in increments of 2 months, 2 weeks, 3 months, 3 weeks, 6 months, 6. And I was like, it is just the time passing. It relies so heavily on all of this time has happened between that. We don't meet them before they meet each other.
Mm-hmm.
But the way that they're talking, I'm like, so is this your first time meeting? Is it not? Like, we're not getting as much of established with them. And I would assume they shot more. And this was not initially like the first kind of even just give me like. I don't
know. Just because the way the rest of it is set up, I think this is how it was written.
Yeah. I mean, I know they kept stressing that they shot out of sequence, which I thought was odd because every TV show shoots out of sequence. Like, very rarely, and that's a privilege of like a ton of money and a lot of creative control, is to shoot in sequence. Like, that's not common. But them keeping stressing that I was like, oh, I do wonder if like it was kind of, you weren't sure where everything was necessarily going to go. But I immediately, right off the bat, because we didn't get either of their backstories like at all, I was like, I'm a little bit confused. And immediately, we're getting sexual tension immediately, but we're getting no backstory.
Mm-hmm.
But immediately I was like, I am a little confused now for the people who are telling me that it's not fetishy and it is in fact a love story. And I was like, I don't know how this is a love story right now because I don't know them. So I can't watch them fall in love with each other if I don't know them and I'm not in love with them yet. Like there is just an aspect of that. So, and it's also
it's an odd setup for a meet cute. Like
yes,
usually, like a meet cute, we know something about one of the characters first, what their goals are, what they want in life, and then we meet this person that either it meets all the expectations or knocks it out, or they're completely not that person, and then we're seeing how we build to get to that part where they love each other.
Yeah. And I think I even would have enjoyed, like, romance aside, just watching them come up playing hockey, like having such totally different upbringings, but having this one thing that they share kind of in common. Like anything like that, I think would have aided in it. And someone did warn, a Canadian was like, I need you to know before going into this show is so Canadian. This show is so motherfucking Canadian. Like, it is so Canadian that I'm seeing every other show that I've watched that is set in DC, set in New York, that was actually filmed in Canada. I go, those are all the same set pieces. I've seen all of this. And everyone also has been like, hey, fair warning, it's really low budget. And I looked into it. It is not as low budget as everybody is talking about whatsoever.
And I don't think it looks low budget. I think camera movements, but like as far as set pieces, I don't think it looks low budget.
I think what is low budget is, I don't know if it was a sound engineer on the day, or if someone...
I said, look, I didn't say sound.
Or if they murdered the audio mixing if they died. The sound in this truly almost made it unwatchable for me. Like, it was so poorly mixed that they're echoing in so many different rooms. I can hardly hear them. And people talked about, I looked online because I was curious what other people were saying about it. And they were like, I love that you can hear the layers of all of the sound. And I was like, they should not all be the same volume. Like, the idea that a zipper zipping up is the same volume, if not louder, than someone talking, and everyone sounds like they're in a giant empty room.
Yes, but I think anything with zippers or clothing movement is on purpose, because that's supposed to be building the tension. I think that's why those are louder. But like, I shouldn't be able to hear somebody echoing on the other side of the room. That's an extra.
Well, I also shouldn't be able to hear room tone at the same volume that I can hear your voice. Yeah. And that I found frustrating, because then I could tell when it was intentional, when they were using it to build the tension. And I was like, okay, I need us to really tighten up when we're not doing that, because it just makes the show very chaotically loud. Like, it's just like a lot of loud air. And that I have a really hard time with. But I also have a really hard time with sounds in general. Like, I get sounds and smells I'm deeply sensitive to. We get into meeting Shane's family, Shane's mom, actually,
this
specifically.
Is 6 months later. Yeah.
You know, they love their versions of 666. So she pops up on screen, and I go, her name is Christina. And I go, how the fuck do I know that? And I go, I know that woman. That's Christina. And I'm 99% that's Christina Chang, if I am not mistaken. And I look her up, and I go, I know her. And I know her personally. She was in my movie.
Oh.
She played Arden's mom. But she literally goes on screen and I go, Christina? And Mutz goes, who? And I go, Christina Chang. And he goes, who is that? I go, I know her.
I can't place her, but I know her. I do that all the time when I'm watching stuff. I'm like, I think I've worked with that person. I'm not completely sure. I think their name is something. Then I'll type the name that I think it is into my emails. Yeah. And then be like, okay, there they are on that call sheet.
And as I was Googling, I was like, I'm pretty sure she played Arden's mom in my movie. Like, she played a mom. I think it was Arden's mom in my movie. And she did. And I was like, oh my God, shout out, girl. Love you. She's so kind, so funny. Has a great laugh, too. And I'm hoping they let her laugh in this show. She's got a great laugh. Great laugh,
I don't
great
know what
teeth,
she's going to laugh at.
I don't know. But like, I don't know. It's one of the things I remember her from. Not on the movie, because in the movie her daughter dies, so she wasn't laughing, but like offset, behind the scenes, she's got a great laugh and really good and really beautiful teeth.
Yeah, so Shane now is signed to the Montreal Metros, and Ilya is signed to the Metros' rival team, the Boston Raiders. At Shane's signing party, his parents praise his efforts and express how proud they are in their son's achievements. And the general manager, I believe, is like, yeah, we're proud too. He's Asian.
Which was objectively crazy, and I need to know if that was in the book, because like...
But I know somebody would say that, but what I didn't expect was his mom not having a reaction to it. That's what I would expect, at least a side eye to him from the mom. But, you know,
No.
there we are.
And to be fair, like, that would be major in hockey. Like, that is not a common thing in hockey.
It's the way that he said it, as if he is a trophy, instead of like, we're embracing this, we're going to protect him. It was more like, here's our shiny trophy of an Asian.
Yep. And at that point, I started questioning if Christina was playing his mom or if she was playing his agent, because I was like, there's no way that's his mom. She didn't say anything about that. Or like, you know, kick him, like grab him, or like any sort of just like nudge to be like, noticed that. We both noticed that. But I was like, maybe she's the agent. No, she seems like she's a momager.
She's a momager, but she's also his biggest fan. And this is the biggest, her favorite team as it is.
Yeah.
So she was very excited for him to be going to it. And then on the contrast, Ilya's father calls him lazy.
Yes. I don't know why he's always in like war clothes.
Well,
no. Okay, when they drop the dementia storyline later, I go, cool, maybe like stop letting your dad dress like a war reenactor and coming to events where he's like talking. It's just...
They're Russian.
Okay.
They're always at war.
Yeah, but then go to war. Like, why are you here in your...
Because he has dementia.
In your war clothes. But also, the way that he, like, no one's addressing his clothes, I have to be like, so is your father, like, I don't know what the terms are, like a general in an army, and so, like, his formal wear is still this, even though he's out of it? But, like, you've never addressed it, or is this, like, you know, the 4-year-old who can only go to school wearing a princess dress? Like, is that what he's doing here? And, like, why are we all just,
I think that is self-explanatory. I don't think we need an explanation for that.
No, we don't. But also the whole thing of being like, don't talk, I'm going to talk. And he's like, okay. And I'm like, but you're also very worried about your father's mental decline.
Is he?
I know. I was like, okay, well, are we worried or are we not? Like, is this a fuck you to the fam, or are we trying to protect? Because it does feel split. 10 minutes in, I wrote down, no offense, I'm kind of bored. Where is the plot? This feels a little bit like a fan edit. Because now we start getting into, like, hands touch, eyes meet. Very wicked.
They're both restless at night, so they go work out in the gym. And I guess this is what Hudson's Peloton ad was based on, because I was wondering why there are very many close-up shots of him in this Peloton ad of his feet and things. Yeah, and I was like, okay, I guess that's what that is referencing. I get it now. But the scene of them just in the gym, working out, they're pushing each other. They're both pushing each other. One pedals hard, the other pedals harder. And then at the end of it, they're just both out of breath and completely spent and love that they challenge each other. And then for some reason, Shane didn't bring a water bottle to work out.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
No, the catch-all I've been using every time something doesn't make sense, and I go, well, there are two boys, so twice as stupid.
But we know that Shane is so meticulous about everything because of the way, like, he folds his clothes. There's no way that he would have left his water bottle.
No. And
if they're going to do it, they should have had it swapped, I think, in my mind.
Yeah, because he also, then Ilya would have just, like, snatched his water bottle and not even asked. That would have made sense.
But I'm not writing this show, so there's that.
So we have some, like, extended hand touches.
And crotch shots. Lots of crotch shots.
Lingering crotch shots. And then a lot of, like, eyes to crotch. And then crotch to eyes to crotch.
They're eye-fucking each other.
Yes, which I love that for you. That's so fun and so fine. I am, again, a little bit confused about how we have really spent no time together. We've, like, not spent any time getting to know each other. I think it would have made a little more sense to me, because if they were just going to hook up and this was just, like, not supposed to be romance and not supposed to be love and this was just, like, you know, sex hookup, makes total sense to me. That, like, you know, we're looking, it's very, like, carnal, primal, animalistic. We're just, fuck the conversation, fuck the noise, whatever. But,
fuck each other.
Exactly. But everyone being like, no, like, this is like a romance. This is a romance. And I'm like, okay, so then I needed to have known that there was, like, a rumor that one of them was gay and the other one knew that, because, like, I guess I'm a little shocked specifically with the character of Shane. And Shane, he said that he played it because I think, like, the fans of the book had thought that Shane's character was autistic, and Shane, when he read it, he felt the same way. And he based some of those traits off of his dad, who's autistic. And how he portrays it in the show is like you said, he's so meticulous. Everything's like so thought through, so intentional that like I'm a little bit lost on how he would feel comfortable just doing like immediately without there ever being any like locker room rumors or even like him scrolling on his phone and seeing like on Reddit or a page 6 that there's like a rumor about, I mean, not even about like Ilya being gay, but like someone in the league being gay, or like having him like scrolling on Instagram and like seeing some hot guy, something that would imply that like he would feel secure or safe with his rival.
Mm-hmm.
That's not just trying to fuck with him, that would turn around and be like, hey, you're gay.
Yeah, I think that it's because a lot of the whole meet cute was off.
Yeah.
And I don't follow hockey, but I presume they have something kind of like the combine where everybody gets like, you haven't been drafted by anybody yet.
I think that's what that was supposed to be.
I know, but if we would have seen them like getting to the training camp, whatever it is, and there is something, not them like solo, like maybe because Ilya's not really like, he's hiding it, but he's not really hiding it because he's eye fucking people all the time.
Yes.
All the time. So like maybe like Shane clocks him doing something or something in that manner, just that one-on-one, just her didn't quite, or maybe we see him, like you said, on the phone, maybe he's checking him out before, like on Instagram. And so it's just the build up to it just didn't do it for me.
Yeah. Or even like showing that they both maybe like don't totally fit with their teams. Like they feel like a little bit othered and like there's something a little bit different. And then that's why they both go outside to like get a break from like the rest of it. There's just something that it feels like we're also not getting to know any of the other players at all here. So I think the understanding is supposed to be like we're supposed to implicitly understand the homophobia within the NHL, which we do. But I am then confused in a thing that is like so riddled with homophobia, how on episode 1, after like one eye fucking, now we're staring at crotches. Like it happens too fast. The NFL's, I mean, not the NFL. Well, the NFL too, but the NHL, it's not like a safe place to be gay. And so having two people who are playing in this and then having it, both of them feel like
okay with just openly eye fucking each other. That
was a little bit confusing to me. And again, I think we had seen more of like their upbringing, and we had maybe seen that like Shane had a hard time connecting with women but wasn't sure why, or saw that he was like exploring this on his own, or the concept or the idea of it, or even like, you know, if something that he knew about himself but he like completely squashed it. That would have made a little bit more sense to me if we're going to start that in episode 1.
Yeah, we didn't get enough of the normal world first before just cracking it.
Before getting cracked.
Yep.
But speaking of that word, we get to see something that, carve it in marble, I suddenly became no better than every other straight girl thirsting after this. That ass.
Ilya's ass?
Melissa.
That is a ass. The way that you didn't even have to tell me, it just propped up. I also texted Avi about it. That ass, like there's a shelf.
That is the deepest shelf I've ever seen.
Yes. Well, it's not the biggest I've ever seen, but it's a
very
deep
strong shelf.
It is
That was a deep shelf.
Yeah.
And I know that people were talking about like, oh, we got to get Connor Storrie's glute routine. And I was like, okay, yeah, it's kind of like a nice butt. And then I was like, oh my God. No, genuinely, your trainer, is there an award for trainers? Because like that to me, I'm like that. Because again,
like I believe he skates because that's.
Yes.
That he has a skater's ass.
Because there's an aspect of genetics there, but there's an aspect of muscle there. It was phenomenal. I screamed out loud, and Mats was on his computer working with headphones, and he goes, what's wrong? And I go, his butt is crazy.
Nothing's wrong. Nothing's wrong at all.
Nothing's wrong at all, but my God, that ass. And Hudson has said that he, as soon as, you know, he saw the butt, he goes, oh my God, I can't have my butt out next to your butt. Fuck, your butt's so good.
You have one new message. Translating. Disney and Pixar's Hoppers is now available on Disney+.
You could say that again.
Critics are calling it Pixar's funniest movie ever and a wildly entertaining ride. Blizzard Potato. It's certified fresh and verified hot.
Now we party.
This is incredible!
Wow, I am clearing the rest of the day.
Disney and Pixar's Hoppers, now available on Disney+. Rated PG.
This episode is brought to you by Redfin. You're listening to a podcast, which means you're probably multitasking. Maybe even scrolling home listings on Redfin, saving homes without expecting to get them. But Redfin isn't just built for endless browsing. It's built to help you find and own a home. With agents who close twice as many deals, when you find the one, you've got a real shot at getting it. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
No one goes to Hank's for his spreadsheets. They go for a darn good pizza. Lately, though, the shop's been quiet, so Hank decides to bring back the $1 slice. He asks Copilot in Microsoft Excel to look at his sales and costs and help him see if he can afford it. Copilot shows Hank where the money's going and which little extras make the dollar slice work. Now Hank has a line out the door. Hank makes the pizza, Copilot handles the spreadsheets. Learn more at m365copilot.com/work.
So we've got another 6 months later where Ilya receives a call from his brother, Alexei, asking for more money. And Alexei's always asking for money. And Ilya's like, okay, but what happened to the money I just gave you? Ilya also just lost a game and he's not in a very giving mood. And then his father calls him and scolds him for losing. Then a few weeks later, his bad luck continues and his team loses to Shane's team. And then another 6 months later.
Melissa, the timeline drives me motherfucking crazy. Also because I hate the font, that I'm like, too much.
Yeah. So this is, the locker room scene comes after this. So another 6 months later, Shane and Ilya meet again while shooting a commercial. And Ilya is like, when did you learn about the commercial? Shane's like, I think he just said like a few days ago or something, and then asked Ilya when he learned about it. He was like, well, actually, it was my commercial and I wanted you in it. So that to me should have been, that should have been sooner. We're like a year later now at this point.
Melissa, the way that, if you actually like calculate the timeline, none of this makes sense because it is so dragged out that like they also simultaneously have like done nothing in between except for the things that we've seen. Like no one's hair has changed, like nothing, there is no like showing of time passing or like life being lived in that way. But I liked this, and I think if they were going to have us like just dropped in the middle of their story, this would have been perfect.
Yes.
It would have been perfect because like I don't need the meet cute because that, in fact, wasn't a meet cute. It didn't add anything. It didn't make any sense. This would have made sense to me. And then if they want to like go back and show more of their stuff like leading up to it, I think that like this makes total sense, especially with how Ilya is this kind of like cheeky, asshole, flirty kind of guy. This being the start and having Shane be like, whoa, that's crazy. Do I kind of like that?
Right.
That makes logical sense to me.
Yeah.
Way more than the rest of it. And from this point on, I was like, okay, this aspect of it, I understand. And especially, and then we get to the locker room.
Well,
but they like
also
laugh and giggle in the thing, which I thought was sweet because we don't see Ilya laugh prior to this. So it was a little cute.
And also Shane's mom is pressuring him to honor his brand ambassador agreement to wear these certain
Reeboks.
sneakers. Yeah. And he's like, I only wear skates, so who cares? But she also wants Shane to use his platform to inspire more Asian kids. So
And Shane is like, yeah, whatever. And all we're seeing is Shane looking at, literally his mom's being like, you're a role model. You have so much pressure on your shoulders. And he goes, I got pressure somewhere else, Mom. I'm focusing more on that.
Right. And what they're trying to say with this is like there's a lot riding on him because he's Asian and he's a role model. People are looking up to him. He can't fuck up.
And I think it was also when she kept saying like, you need to make sure you're only ever seen in these shoes. And basically like everybody's watching. Like everybody can see you. Everybody's watching every move that you make. Don't fuck that up. And that, of course, in one ear, out the other. He's not really taking that as like a larger concept. More so, he's really just thinking about the specific Reeboks.
And then we
get to the locker room.
Yes, then we're in the locker room.
Which locker rooms are, in fact, inherently gay. So I was waiting for that moment because I was like, you could have even started this in the locker room.
Yeah.
But them by themselves, next to each
But
other.
it makes sense, though, that it would happen now when they're by themselves because they're now at a commercial shoot. It's just the two of them.
And they pick the showers right next to each
Mhm.
other. And now we're no longer looking at bulges. We're looking at dick and balls. Except I'm not puritanical whatsoever, and I'm a big proponent of like showing more dick in TV, like specifically flaccid dick. But I love that there's no frontal in this because it is a very explicit show for two people who do not have like really massive resumes. And like, I'm so glad that this blew up. But there was a chance that like, doing this level of like sex and can deeply affect the rest of your career.
Mhm.
And I was happy to know. I wish that would be the same for women because in general, they want you, if you're getting naked, you get all the bits are showing, whatever. But I was happy to know that the creator, Jacob Tierney, was like adamant that there would be no frontal nudity because he was like, it does not make sense. And like, that's not a smart move. And it's specifically not a smart move for the actors at this stage in their career, which I thought was really considerate of him to think about because like, it has nothing to do with his career at all.
Mhm.
Like them having full frontal that wouldn't have affected him, but him like treating it like that's not something that you just do lightly. I thought was nice. And I hope that more people do that instead of trying to pressure people into
agree.
full frontal.
So we're in their showers. They're both kind of checking each other out, but Shane's being more discreet about it. But then Ilya gives him the nod, like, DTF. And what I've heard from my friends, straight, gay, whatever, when they're in locker rooms or anytime spas, there's always some motion to let you know that they'd be down. If you're down, I'm down. One of my friends was telling me about how a man squeezed his toes and then asked if he was uncircumcised, even though they were naked,
I was
so
going to say.
he could look. Also, just being in like steam rooms and just making motions. So realistic.
I was the universal language of it. The fact that like Shane understood what he meant. I was like, okay, Shane, I'm gonna need more backstory on you. Are you this complete naive innocent? I have no
I don't
idea.
think he's completely naive. I think he
No.
watches gay porn at the minimum.
Yes, but we're not seeing any of that. So I'm just like, okay. And then at this point is also when I paused and rewound because I thought I missed something again. Where they get into the where Shane just goes almost with annoyance, which I found funny, going, okay, not here.
Right. He's like, please stop.
You're like,
You're
stop.
literally
You're
jerking off.
Yeah.
And we're both aroused, obviously. But like, we can't do that here.
Which
that means
the
we
question,
can do this later then.
But also begs the question, why not here? We're the only two people in this locker room.
But his mom could come looking for him.
Oh my God, Mom. He might be naked.
Yeah, but she might knock on the door while they're mid-thrust. You don't want that happening.
That's true. I was like, you guys could probably actually like just, do this here.
But he also doesn't want, like, he wants it to be more secluded. This is his first time.
And so then the proposition for sex is accepted.
Ilya goes to Shane's hotel room.
Yep. And then pretty much instantaneously, we're slamming heads onto the walls, and then we're
slamming heads into throats.
Yeah, and then we're sucking dick.
Mm-hmm.
And I wrote down, wow, these actors had to do so much sex for so little money.
This is the this is the definition of exposure. Like, yes, so little money, but now this is when, like, if you work in the entertainment industry or any industry where you provide a service, some people will be like, yeah, let's just work on this and you'll get paid in exposure. And they did. And it actually, for them, it
paid
cashed
off
out for them.
tenfold. And I'm so relieved and so happy for them that it did, because it was originally just on Crave, which is Canadian television, and then HBO picked it up. And like hockey romance, hockey smut is having like a major moment. And then this book series like did pretty well, but like I don't think that it's a lot of those smut books do well for like a moment, and then people kind of move. It's not like, I'm not saying that we're oversaturated with like books at this point, but there is just a lot. So the idea that anything can make a really strong, lasting impression in a genre that there are so many different people making this style of book, you don't necessarily know that, because it's that between this and The Summer I Turned Pretty, which, do you know those books?
Yeah.
So those
I don't know the books, but I know the show that's on Amazon Prime.
I will say that book is a little bit older, and it's not like of a specific, it's a YA book. So like it's a very like broad genre. Right now, YA, or not even YA, but right now, like romance books that have like really niche genres and subgenres and specific plot points it's very insular. So like you could make another hockey show like this and people are like, oh, you're copying this. There's so many different books that are existing in this space like that I was relieved that this took off in the way that it did, because also those guys like signed up for a Canadian show. They didn't sign up for it to be this big. And so they did get paid in exposure, but that was just a best case scenario. And I'm thrilled that it worked out for them, because I will say the other thing that I wrote down consistently through this is they have fantastic chemistry with each other, and they both can act. Like their performances it made it so much more believable. Like some of the stuff I was like, oh my God, this is over the top. But they grounded it in a way that it does make me fear for the actors, because I know these fans have gone crazy, but like it really does. They have injected such like a realism into the performances that I do find that they're making up for a lot of the lack of backstory in their performance. And I was like really, I knew I was anticipating Connor Storrie's accent, and people were like saying like wonderful things about his accent, but like they were saying that like the way he holds his face, he's almost unrecognizable, and like he is. And I will say that Hudson Williams, everyone talks about Connor's performance. I was like blown away by Hudson's.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, you are.
He's a quiet actor.
Yes.
And I like that. Mm-hmm.
And I was and he's not a quiet person if you've ever seen any of his press. And I was like, I think I was not expecting that performance from him. And I also, again, to commend director, showrunner, all of that kind of stuff. It seems like they really let them act, and that was like at the forefront of this, which I appreciated, because I think that's also like, thank God that it was written. The book was written by a straight woman, which is abundantly clear, but the story was created by a gay, like the show was created by a gay man, and I'm like, oh my God, thank God, because he left room for them to be people. I just wish we got to see them be people earlier in the show.
Agree. So then, where are we now?
He's sucking dick for the first time.
Yeah, they're sucking dick.
But he is implied scared, which I was like, damn, sucking dick for the first time as like a fully grown adult, like that would be a little scary.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's fair. And now we get into something that happens throughout this entire show that I cannot stress how much I fucking hate. The last name calling while we were in bed.
That seems straight from the book.
Yes.
But, boys do just have, like, random names that they call each other. And they're hockey players. And I could see them calling each other by their last name. It just seems like a lot. Like, we don't usually, when you're talking to somebody in everyday life, you don't usually say their name, period, unless you're trying to get their attention.
Mm-hmm.
So them constantly saying each other's names, and constantly saying asshole, and constantly saying fuck you, just like got real old and stale real fast.
Well, and the thing that I think would have been such a nice distinction, which again, this feels like a straight woman wrote this, and is like sports, because all of the other teammates call him, the Russians call him Hollander. And then the Canadians, the Montreal team, they're calling Ilya Rozanov. Like, and when people talk to them about each other, they refer to them as their last name. Like, it's very sports-like. So it does not make sense to me that then when you are being intimate with him and you are not having a sportsmanship like relationship, you would then call him by his first name. Like, it would just be a little bit different in the romantic sense, or you wouldn't call him by his last name, especially because you're trying to be all secretive about it.
To me, right now, it still makes sense to be calling last names, because they're having sex, but they're not in a romantic relationship yet. Further down the line, them switching it up, to me, has a bigger impact for them to change the name. My problem is them constantly saying it.
But they only say it when they're having sex. I'm like, it's like you never refer to him to his face as Rosenoff, but then when he's sucking your dick, then you decide, like, let's just not say his name now, because it does feel forced, because it only happens during sex. And, like, it doesn't feel sexy to me personally.
Oh, also while Shane or Ilya's going up to Shane's room, he runs into Shane's mother.
Yep, Christina. Shout out Christina.
And then they also swear to each other that they won't say anything to anybody else.
Which does not make sense to me, again, because you were looking at that man's outline of his dick, and you are now being like, hey, don't tell anyone. By the way, if he was going to tell someone that you were gay adjacent, he already would have done. You guys have already been doing this. Is so homoerotic that now he goes, well, now don't tell anyone. I'm like, okay, by the way, if he told any of the things leading up to this, that would still be a problem. And then why are you concerned? This is clearly mutual. And him being, don't tell anyone I sucked your dick. And I'm like, I guess maybe I don't understand men, because I'm like, by the way, equally as gay to have your dick sucked as it is to suck a dick.
Yep.
So.
But some people are just like, a mouth is a mouth.
I was going to say, that to me, anytime I was confused, I go, well, they're men. So male logic, not even just between them, but like the rest of the guys that they think of, like the culture of men. They're like, no, it's more gay to suck a dick. Okay, weird. Very weird.
Then we're in another 3 months later.
Oh my God.
Which I didn't know that this show like jumped going into this. I didn't know it jumped such big chunks of time. Because when we started and they're like, Shane is the youngest hockey player. And I was like, this dude is not young. Like,
they did nothing to change their ages at all. Nothing.
At least try to make them look different throughout the time period so I know where we are. So we're 3 months later. Shane finds himself stalking Ilya online. Ilya's career is really taking off. And it's really annoying Shane's mom.
And we also meet Shane's dad, which I wrote down.
He was just standing there at the beginning, though.
Oh, by the way, it would make sense because I said, did his dad have a lobotomy? Why is his dad so stupid? He was like, what's YouTube?
Yeah. We saw him in the scene where the general manager, whoever he was, made that comment about Shane being Asian. His dad was just standing there. He didn't say anything. He
didn't even notice him. Maybe that was fresh off the lobotomy. But like, I was like, your father is, and like, I keep calling her Christina, but like
Yuna is
there you go.
Name.
She is like so capable, so intelligent, so like business oriented and minded. Like she's got 101 words per second that she's fitting in. That everything's got a purpose and everything's got a point. And then she has this like absolute dead weight of a motherfucking idiot husband who now we're wasting time at lunch with Shane having to explain to his father what YouTube is, and he's like, no, I don't even know. He's like, it's like video streaming. He goes, I don't even know what any of those words are. And I go,
well, it was though, wasn't it like 2012?
I guess, but they're not doing anything like outfit wise or
it's
anything
set on
to
the screen though. I think it was like 2012 though, which still is late in the YouTube game. But I feel parent wise is kind of early-ish.
Maybe, but when he said he didn't know what any of those words meant, and one of those words was video, I was like, you need to send him to the same facility that we are sending Ilya's father to, because I think both of your, and then I'm not kidding, in 100% earnest honesty, I'm not even trying to be funny, I thought to myself, wow, they're going to bond over both of their dads having dementia. That's what I thought that meant. I thought that was an indicator of like, oh, your dad also is having a cognitive decline.
Yeah.
And I don't think that is what I was supposed to be taking away from that.
Well, I think we're supposed to be taking away the time period, but I still think it was too late for the time period, even to be 2012 or whenever it was.
And he had no desire to actually understand. He goes, I don't know what that is. And I go,
that makes sense to me as my father in technology.
Yeah. It drove me crazy.
You know, he is slowly getting onto it, very late, but loves Facebook videos, whatever that's called. Reels. I'm not on Facebook. Loves them. Listens to them all the time. I thought one time he was listening to Beyonce on repeat singing. Then I go out. He just fell asleep with his phone and was just repeating it.
Been there, Diva. Been there. Repeating the same Beyonce one over and over and over again. He's just like us. Then we have the iconic line where Yuna is like so worked up and frustrated about Ilya that she says, fuck him right in the butt.
Yeah. She's like, and he took that personally. Shane took that personally. It's actually the opposite, but yeah.
Yeah. I was like, I thought the heavy-handed use of the word asshole to be like, it felt like a Frida Kahlo painting. Like, it was very much like, we're just bringing up the word asshole to, like, get you in the mood. We're trying to loosen those sphincter muscles.
Little lubrication.
It's a little audio popper. And I was like, and then when she said that, I was like, okay, this is feeling a little heavy-handed. Like, because they're trying to, like, obviously tie all of these, like, rivalries to the fact that, like, these heightened, intense emotions are, like, very parallel to, like, lust and sex and all of that.
But I think we also didn't get enough of that either.
No, and the phrasing
of the time
it.
jump. There's too many time jumps.
There needed to be... I could have dealt with one time jump in the first episode, and then when episode 2 started, and then there were more time jumps, I said, you're fucking kidding me. They're going to be 95 years old by the time the show ends.
Right.
Like, it is so...
looking the exact same.
Exact fucking same. I was like, this movie's actually about time travel, because, like, there's no fucking way.
Like, even, like, a year later, after them playing professionally in the league, they should be bigger. Like, there should just be things that they're just, like, changes, but because they're filming it in such a short amount of time, you can't have that.
Well, someone should not have a front tooth, or at least facial hair. Like, there needs to be something. I was looking at the teeth. Yeah, teeth perfectly fine the whole time.
Then, at the same time, the media is capitalizing on the rivalry, and they're playing footsie under the table. And I'm like, there's no tablecloth. Nobody's seeing this.
Yeah. Again, I was like, well, boys are dumb. So,
yeah.
Do you know what I recently found out? None of the minions are girls, because the creator of the Minions says he couldn't
said that on this podcast before. And it wasn't that recent. It was about...
Really? Wait, I feel like I just learned this.
It was about a month ago you said it.
Oh, damn, time really has been flying. But God, any time that I kept being like, this makes no sense, I then had to remind myself, really, these are just 2 minions fucking. Like, they're just...
in their 20s, too.
Yeah, they're boys. They're really stupid. This is just Kevin and Stuart.
And they've been hit in the head.
Kevin and Stuart. Maybe Stuart and Bob. Like, it was just like,
I don't know enough
2
about the
stupid motherfucking minions. And I was like, okay, anytime that it feels like this makes no sense, remember, these are just 2 minions bopping around, sucking dick.
So at this little press conference, the reporters are repeatedly trying to attempt to get, like, sound bites out the 2 of them to insult each other, but Shane's really remaining cool, because that's not who Shane is. He's just a nice boy that shows up to play hockey and has a quiver in his timber.
Exactly. And he got the Rolex deal, and one of the things they said about him was that he's, like, a good role model, and they said something like wholesome or whatever. Like, he's got this expectation of, like, nice Canadian boy.
Mm-hmm.
And then I wrote down montages, and then I wrote down, this is so cheap. I don't know why I wrote down this was so cheap here specifically.
Oh, I know why. I can tell you why. Okay, so just backing up just a little bit, but there's family problems, like Ilya's family problems continue. His brother keeps asking him for money, and then this is when he starts to realize his dad's memory is deteriorating, but the brother says it's fine. Then we do this 4-month time jump, and this is where it got real cheap looking. Okay. Because they're at the Nashville All-Star game, but we don't really see each other. And there is an interview between the 2 of them. They're still trying to push this rivalry, which I'm still not buying because we're not seeing enough of it. Shane also notices that Ilya's struggling with his English, so he helps him. And then at the game, Ilya, like, speaks with Shane before leaving. Ilya gives Shane his hotel room, so then they're hooking up again.
Mm-hmm.
And, okay, I think the cheap part is coming a little bit later.
Okay.
A little bit later.
Okay.
But then that night, they are immediately all over each other, making out. Again, it's been, like, a year, I think.
And that's the way I'm like, okay, Shane, have you not gotten on Grindr in this time period?
No, he can't. He's a famous athlete. At least he could, get his dick sucked somewhere. But there's ways that he could do it.
Yeah.
But again, he has all this pressure on him, though, to be the perfect athlete, to be the perfect brand ambassador. So he's trying not to.
I would love to know what medications he's on, because, like, he is so horny yet so chill that I'm just like,
well, I think it's because he also has been, as we learn in this scene, when Ilya's pressing his dick up against his butt and rubbing his butthole, Shane admits that he has a dildo. And so that's how he's getting off. he has been practicing with his dildo, and Ilya is like,
What color?
What color is it?
Which, this was one of my biggest takeaways. This show is so much funnier than I thought it was going to be. Like, specifically those dynamics between the two of them, where he says something, like, crazy, and then he responds. It's just so funny. And they obviously have, like, great chemistry, but they have such fantastic comedic timing and chemistry with each other that I was like so incredibly impressed with. And I don't know how much of that is in the adaptation versus how much of that's in the book, because everything I read about the book was the biggest concern for Rachel Reed was like, I don't know how you'd make this into a TV show. Like, this is like incredibly explicit. And I don't know if it was even more explicit than the show. I'm like, where was the room for the jokes then?
Right.
Like, whoever wrote these jokes, I thought it was very funny. The delivery was great.
Then they plan to meet again in 2 weeks during their next game in Montreal, and they plan to have sex. And they save each other's names in their phone as Jane and Lily.
Yeah. Is this the homeless one yet?
I don't remember that.
Okay, so right now I wrote down, as of now, this is feeling fetishy because I'm waiting for them to fall in love. And time has been passing. No love has been happening. I like when they're together and we see the jokes and the fun and all that, but like they're together for like 5 seconds and then they're having sex and then
nothing.
And
like y'all haven't been DMing each other.
Yeah.
Why are you just now getting a phone number at this point?
That drove me crazy.
That didn't make sense to me.
No, or at least like we saw Shane like look up some stuff about Ilya or like watch him on the broadcast or whatever, but I'm like, you're not like searching his name on like Reddit. Like, you're not like doing a deeper dive on him. It just felt like, again, if we're supposed to believe that this is like more than just like lust and sex, you would be infatuated to the point where you're having to like curb that obsession between the times that you're seeing him. Like, it just would make more sense to me. But this was when he said, when he was like, oh, like before they were like, it was like they thought they were gonna have sex, and it was like, okay, no, we'll do it later. But he was like, I'm not scared about, taking, you fucking my ass or whatever. Which I'm like, by the way, you can be scared of anal. That's totally fine.
A dildo is not the same.
No,
but also,
But then Ilya's basically being like, do you think that? He's like, oh, because you think it makes you gay? And he goes, sucking my dick makes you gay. I was like, love that. And then when he was like, well, where are we gonna? He's like, we just like can't do it here. Because this was when his teammate was staying right next to him. So I was like, yeah, you can't like scream his name because that's all you guys like to do is like say each other's last names. And your literal teammate's right there. Even though you still did.
But Ilya was still like, let him hear it. Like,
literally, he's like, well, he's cute. You will enjoy.
Yeah.
But then he was like, well, where, like, he's like, well, we're coming to Boston. Like, well, like, we can hook up in however much time. And he was like, where? And he just goes, you are homeless?
Yeah. Yes,
I
that's true.
loved that
That's
line
true.
because there was a big enough pause that he literally was like, oh, I thought I was having it tough. Like, oh, this boy's homeless. And he goes, you are homeless. And he goes, what? No. And he goes, okay, so what's the fucking problem?
It's like, I have an apartment. That's the problem.
Like, okay, whatever.
Okay, we can do it in the middle.
Yep.
Then we're at 2 weeks later.
Melissa. I would also give anything for it to be 1 week or like pick an odd number. Like everything is 2, 2, 6, 6.
4.
I guess we've had some 3s. Actually, maybe only 4s.
So their plans are ruined because they're supposed to play against each other, but it's snowing, so they can't get out.
And now we find out that Ilya's team member is a 45-year-old man. And I was like, my God, the age range of these teams are crazy. That is a fully grown adult man.
Yeah. And then they're texting each other, but Shane's friend invites him over to have dinner with his family. At first, I thought that this dude was gay and was like trying to hook up with him. Because there's gay vibes between him. I don't think that man is happy with his wife.
I am going into this with everyone's gay lens.
Okay. And I think that's fair. Because like I was getting gay vibes from somebody else and they were gay. So there's that. So Hayden invites him over because he's like, my wife is going to be so excited because she wants to be the first wag to feed you.
Which was crazy because I have to say, this was another display of diversity. That wife, brunette. Do you know how rare that is? I'm not kidding. There's like, I think in total, like 3 brunette wives in all of the NHL.
Wow.
Everyone is blonde to the point where like brunettes have literally made statements about how like it's actually quite hard to be a brunette wife in
my gosh.
And I was like, it's insane. And also then they have like players from Sweden who come over with their blonde wives.
Yeah.
And like it's just overrun. So when I saw she had brown hair, I was like, damn.
Diversity.
They know hockey because they're really making sure to be like, no. This is progressive hockey. She's got brown hair.
But also, again, it's been years now. Why haven't they not had dinner with anybody?
Hey,
that doesn't make sense to me.
And also, why are all of your teammates 45 years old with multiple children and you are still in your 20s? I'm incredibly confused. And he's no longer a rookie, so where are the kids younger than you?
Yeah. So then he's disappointed at this little dinner. And then we find out that Ilya has a fuck buddy that's a woman, Svetlana.
Which, that if you had told me to come up with a woman name in Russian, I was like, Svetlana, perfect.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you so much. Made it very easy for me in my small American brain.
Well, most of my aesthetic people now, my lashes, my massages, my nails, all Russian. So
Yep.
You've
got a plethora of names you can pull from. Yeah. I'm out of the lash game. Haven't gotten those in a while.
Yeah.
Used to. So now we have this whole time.
4 months later.
I can't. They're fucking texting. And again, they have each other under as like Jane and Lily, which lesbians. That's what I'm getting is Jane and Lily are lesbians flirting with each other because they start saying, "Hey Jane, it's Lily."
But I mean, they're not. Never mind, because I'm not going to speak on gay culture like that.
No, but I just found it funny because the whole point is supposed to be like, it's supposed to be there's a girl in my phone that I'm texting.
Right.
So maybe don't start it with like you texting a girl and the girl talking to you like you're a girl. Like that didn't make sense. And what also didn't make I was like, okay, we're taking these precautions, and I do like that Ilya's kind of like, I'm doing this for you, Shane. Like you're the prude, you're the one who wants this, because then we're getting dick pics sent.
Yes.
From Lily, which we're also
that doesn't make sense if it's Lily. Like
if we're trying to, because I said to Mods was like, girls can have dicks, and I was like, no, but because he wasn't watching, and I was like, no, it's a cover because it is like so deeply homophobic that we need to make this pretend that this is the most cis straight girl can't even be brunette. She should be blonde. Like such an archetype of what it is. And I go, and we're really just going through the motions. Like I don't know who we're trying to fool here because like
each other.
No one's even really looking at your phone, my guy. Both of you don't seem to have many friends. Like, you're pretty antisocial. Like, no one's really paying attention. But the sexts were so funny. And then Ilya's talking about his 9-inch dick. And I was like, I guess when you don't show full frontal, you can just decide what size the dick
But that picture wasn't 9 inches. That was a good 7.
It was like, that's a totally fine, a great ratio.
Yeah. Like,
girth to length. But like,
9 is too much for me.
No. By the way, why would you ever tell a man who's never had a dick in his ass that you have a 9-inch? Like,
but he's also had his dick. He's had his dick in the mouth. Like he knows how many inches it is.
By the way, the first time a man is sucking a dick and it's a 9-inch dick, I'm sorry,
it's going to be more like
you're barfing. Yeah. That's not going to be. You're not coming that far. Like, come, let's be serious. I've sucked plenty of dicks in my life. Like, I know how this works. I know how this fucking works. And I've sucked.
You had that smart water bottle.
Smart water bottle. I should measure a smart water bottle. Like, when I tell you, and by the way, guys who have dicks that big do, in fact, not get around because it is physically impossible. Like, you have to find someone with a very large mouth or somebody with a very expandable set of holes. You just don't have the capacity.
Because that would be scary. Like, if you would have been like, yeah, I'm scared because your dick is 9 inches.
Yeah, your dick, it's the Loch Ness monster is attached to you between your legs. Like, I'm incredibly intimidated because you've got my forearm hanging in your pants, and I don't know where I'm supposed to put that.
Right.
Especially when you've never put anything like that anywhere before. That's not
we
the
don't
way
know
you
how
start
big
with.
his dildo is.
Yeah, but then he's probably on Amazon Prime being like, I got to order a bigger dildo if I have to prepare for 9 whole inches.
Again, he's had it in his mouth already, so
I
he
know.
knows how big it is. So maybe he's been training his asshole for 2 years.
Dude, maybe that's why we have all these time jumps. He's stretching his asshole like gauges, earrings, trying to get ready for
different butt plugs.
Yep.
Gradually getting bigger.
Mm-hmm.
So now, 4 months later, Shane and Ilya finally get another opportunity to see each other, and it's at the Rookie of the Year Awards. And this is what looked cheap as fuck.
Oh my
because
God.
we didn't actually see the awards. We saw images and stills from what was the awards, but I thought it was smart the way that they shot it. When you have a budget that you're working with, I did think it was smart the way that it was being shot.
100%. I do, in fact, need to know where the budget of this show went. Because, like,
to the apartments and the hotel.
That's literally, I swear to God, I think that's it. Because I was shocked because there's not even extras. And, like, extras are which might be a surprise, the most expensive thing on a set.
There were about 15 in this scene.
Which is the most I've ever had at all, which is not.
Even at the games, there's nobody in the stands.
No, even when he's, like, walking through the streets, we're not seeing people, like, Montreal is fucking empty as far as we know. Like, absolutely deserted town. So I was thinking, okay, we're saving the money because it's a pilot, and usually the most expensive episodes are the pilot and the finale. And I was like, okay, so
They'll use a lot of money for music and stuff like that in the pilot, and then we won't hear that kind of music ever again.
Until the finale, and then you'll get one other song. And so I was thinking, I was like, oh, okay, now we find out that they're going to this gala. I was like, okay, here's where we're going to see the money. I actually saw 2 dimes rubbing together.
Yeah,
I was like, are you kidding me?
We saw extras, we saw pictures, we saw a screen, and that was it.
I saw curtains. I saw a lot of curtains, and I saw about 5 men in tuxedos. And those are the same 5 men I have seen in any scene where there's more than 2 people.
Right. And the one fella, Scott, goes up to Shane and it's like, hey, like, is that alcohol you're drinking? He's like, no, it's ginger ale. Wouldn't do that in front of you. It's been a while now. And he's still a rookie at this point because this is the Rookie of the Year award. But so much time has passed.
What a very long year they've had.
Yeah. And he's like, and we can have a toast with your guy. And he's like, what do you mean? It's not my guy. And that was very reminiscent of me discovering one of my exes was gay. So his best friend had called. This is my real life. His best friend had called, and I answered because he was somewhere else. And so I answered, and I was like, yeah, your man is blah, blah. And his friend was like, my man? What are you talking about? What? And, like, he got so defensive, and I was like, what the fuck is going on here? And then as I did more snooping, because my antenna went up.
Yeah, because if this was just your friend, this is a very normal thing for me to say. But you being like, whoa, 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 what? Doth protest too much.
Right.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So I felt that scene.
Yeah.
And then once we got to, and I also was getting gay vibes from him too.
At the Olympics?
He is gay. By the time we get to episode 3, we learned that he's gay. And I was already like, I thought, okay, I don't think you're hiding it.
No, again, I have gone in with the point of view, which I do think maybe is inaccurate, that this whole team is gay, and that we go through every man
how many
on this
books
team.
are there in this series?
I thought it was like the Bridgerton. It's the Bridgerton
so it
family.
It might
the
be
team.
to where we discover everybody is gay.
And I specifically think it is the Montreal team because we don't know anybody on the fucking Boston team.
Yeah. So then after the award party, Ilya is spending most of his time alone on the rooftop. So then Shane, like, misunderstands Ilya's behavior because he thinks that Shane is, like, being a sore loser. And he's like, I thought you would be there to be, like, proud for me. Like, I would have been proud for you, essentially.
Which, we weren't even there.
Right. We weren't, but also, like, we haven't seen enough build up for them having, like, a friendship outside of just fucking.
Yeah, and there's no expectation of that. And also, like, we as the audience don't even see that in-between thing. So then when they reference, like, oh, you weren't there for me. And I go, well, we weren't there either.
Right.
Like, it feels a little off and a little bit odd, especially because, like, the only time we also hear him talk about them, like, to their teammates, like, oh, we're not friends. And I'm like, okay, so we're only is what we're seeing on screen the only interactions you are having?
Right.
And so then it feels a little bit, expectations feel a little bit odd. But again, This is when I wrote down, men really don't communicate. They're fucking exhausting.
Yes. And so Ilya doesn't fully explain himself, but he's anxious about going back to Russia. And Shane doesn't know the difficulties of Ilya's family situation. And Shane tells Ilya that it'd be nice for them to spend time with his family. And Shane's still in his feelings and says goodbye and walks away. And then Ilya grabs Shane and pulls him in for another kiss. And Shane kisses him back. And then Shane comes to his senses, like, what the fuck you're doing? We're in tuxedos on a rooftop. Anybody can see us. And Ilya's like, we're going to fuck. And Shane's like, no. And Ilya respects that. But then he's just left brooding on the rooftop. And that's how the episode ends.
Okay. Yeah. I will say, Shane, I do in fact think you have a wee bit of paranoia that you think someone with binoculars is watching from another rooftop.
But also for Ilya to be like so apprehensive about a lot of things, it doesn't make sense because he's always trying to do something in a public place.
I know. It feels so odd. And also, I know this comes out in episode 2, but like Shane's like complete not understanding of this man who he's like knowing that like does not speak English very well and it like helps him out English, like all of that. When he finds out that like, by the way, gay people not beloved in Russia, and he's like, whoa, mind blown. I was like, oh my God, Shane, I would have thought in these in between of these massive time jumps, maybe we had opened Google, a dictionary, we'd done anything for us to learn. Get on Duolingo, because like he makes comments again in episode 2 that like Ilya's English is getting better, which I am confused by because it does seem pretty much exactly the same. I never thought his English was bad.
No, I can understand him until we go to episode 2. Episode 2, I was like, I don't know what the fuck is going on during these scenes when he's in Russia.
Yes. Well, by the way, never in Russia. He's in a hotel room. The way that this is, I think the budget, I think you're right. I think the budget went to hotels. Like, and I think they were like, we should probably stay in these same hotels that we're shooting in. And that will be, that'll help us out. But all of my complaints after the first 10 minutes really are, unfortunately, easily explained by the fact that, like, men are dumb. And I said this to Kyle, and Kyle was saying these, like, that's, like, you'll love episode 3. Like, episode 3 is
so good. I was not smiling the whole time during episode 3.
He was like, it's literally how everyone else has described Heated Rivalry to me is what episode 3 is. And, like, character-wise, it's so sweet, so like it's just exactly what you want, and like is in fact a love story. And I'm with you in terms of like the trope aspect of this. And I think, and I'm not, this is like nothing to Jacob Tierney. I think he did like a great job, but like I can tell that because the trope, if you think like the things that stay from an adaptation are like the general premise, which is the trope. That's the category it falls in, and then like the characters' names or whatever. And this like, you're a fucking asshole, I hate you, and now we want to fuck, like I'm a dick, you're a nice guy, that kind of a thing. It feels like a very easy, and it is a very popular one with women. And
it is. I mean, that's why the first season of Bridgerton was that too.
Yes. And in heterosexual romances and ships and stuff like that. So it does kind of just feel like that. And I think it also makes it easier to have like the aggressive one is going to be Eastern European. He's going to have like not a concept of feelings, and it's going to be like very like brute force and gruff and all of that kind of stuff, which I don't know I know that this is an adaptation of like 2 of the books. And so I have to assume that episode 3 is from a different book.
It is.
And that's a great choice to make, because like what I really don't like, and again, this is why I have to watch the whole the whole show, because I don't want to make broad statements.
Yeah, but there has to be character growth, or else you don't have a series.
But from this episode alone, it does feel the straight women who like are obsessed. It feels very fetishy from this point, because like the only depiction we're seeing of gay romance is like sex. There is no tenderness, there is no sweetness, there is no personality, and like neither of these boys like have a life or a personality or a purpose outside of sexual pleasure for the other.
Yep.
And it just feels very reductive, and we've boiled it down. And like some of the defense I've seen online of it's like, well, they do it to women all the time. And I'm like, what? That's not the
I don't like that either.
Solution that it's like, well, then we should be able to objectify men. And I'm like, wait, but and like, also you can objectify straight men and straight stories, but like this idea that it's like just a free for all. So I really love the choice that the creator made to have a separate storyline that is a very different aspect of it, that isn't as much of like, from what I've heard, it's not the slow burn in the same way, and it's not this like enemies to lovers kind of vibe. And I also think that while I would have liked, if we're really going to do enemies to lovers, I've never seen these men be enemies one time.
That's the thing, is like the rivalry itself isn't even heated. The actual rivalry isn't heated. The heated part is them fucking.
They don't seem to give a shit at all. And so I don't know if that was a choice that he made, that he didn't want. It already has like even without the extensive rivalry backstory and like all of that, it is coming from like more of a cold and aggressive kind of place, that's not how he wanted to depict the characters in their entirety the whole time. But I'm struggling to find an actual depiction of like a book romance trope. Like I'm not finding like a real trope in this, because
it's supposed to be enemies to lovers, but it just feels we're not getting the enemies part.
No.
And it's also supposed to be like bad boy, good girl.
Yeah, but it's also not even feeling like hate fucking.
No.
Like they've got great chemistry, great banter, being funny, and I don't know. I think I would have liked maybe a forced proximity, like they're at like hockey camp together. Like,
and I wrote in this genre too, and I didn't like it at least it doesn't have abuse in it. Like,
yes,
that's also a trope that I hate, and I was paid to write that, and I did not like it at all, and tried to change it as much as I could. And then I asked not to be on that kind of show again. And that's difficult, and that's why I haven't written much for them anymore. But I understand tropes, but I also like when the trope is subverted. But in this, there's just not enough there's not enough story with it.
Yeah.
I would love more story.
Yeah. Because I'm the same. It's my least favorite, again, abuse. And that's I don't even, at this point, I don't know that I even count that as a trope. That's more of like a kink kind of thing that is far more, not salacious, but like far more intense. Like I don't think it should be included in like, there should be a section of
in
books
a romance
that have that.
Yeah.
Like I think you should seek that out. You shouldn't have to go out of your way to make sure something that you're reading does not include like abuse as something sexy. Like it should be kink content, not romance content. But for me, in the romance, like the enemies to lovers is also like, I don't love like the I'm so mean to you and like you like it kind of thing. It doesn't do much for me. But if you're going to do it, then I need to see that that's what you're doing instead of telling me that this is what's going on, but I'm not seeing it at all.
I'm not seeing it. And it's also, they're not opening, they know nothing about each other.
No, but they're also still so infatuated.
Yes, at least give me some nugget of them like actually knowing each other instead of just sexting and fucking.
Well, and there's like moments where you can tell that they both clearly care about each other, but then there's like, that there's no follow through with that care. It's like the concept of caring, but like you don't know anything about this person. You haven't even like thought to like look them up more or like do any sort of research. And like, yeah, men don't ask follow-up questions. I get that. But like, it just feels like they have such fantastic chemistry that I feel like it does them a disservice to not build that backstory and or build that romance before the sex part, or even just in tandem with the sex part.
They could still have sex, but like even after that, just because. And if this was just like one day, I would be fine with it. It's because of the time jumps.
If it was 2 episodes, I would also be fine with it. But it's just the fact that this is be like 4 fucking years that I'm like, we've not gotten anywhere. Good God, guys. Like, there's just no deepening of that relationship. And yeah, that part I just found. And like, I think some of the best scenes are like after they've hooked up and they're like talking in bed for like a minute and then it's gone. And it's like, ugh. Or even some of the other great ones are like when they're texting. And I'm like, oh my God, but you have such great chemistry. I want to see you in person doing any of this. And it just doesn't feel like a realistic timeline to me. But I am not, I have zero issue with the acting. I think it's shot also.
Yeah,
I think it's shot very
great.
well.
I think
the sound is atrocious.
The sound's not the best, but I think it gets better after episode 3. It's not bad, I'd say. So I'm gonna keep watching it because I'm interested to see where we go as an arc, like what the character arc is. But all these time jumps just aren't doing it for me because there's no real progress in their relationship.
There's no point for there to be 6 months later. It makes no difference. But yeah, I thought it was way funnier than I thought. But I also wrote down that because the budget isn't that small, to give people like context, premium TV in the UK is like above $1 million or above like 1.3 per episode. And like this has this is decently well over that. And for comparison, I'm pretty sure one episode of this show cost more than the entire season of Freakish season 1. I'm like pretty sure if I'm remembering correctly. But also the one episode has a bigger budget, I think, than my movie that I made. And this has like a higher budget than Schitt's Creek, which is also a Canadian show. And that to me, I'm hoping season 2, because it's going to be the same budget. They might get slightly more for that, but both of the boys signed on for 3 seasons. They're not getting paid crazy. You get like a percentage increase on, if it's streaming and they sign up for 3 seasons, they might have negotiated a percentage increase for season 2, but usually you get to, if it's signed on for 3 with then maybe there'll be more, then you negotiate after 3. But if they've signed on, there's only ever going to be 3, they probably negotiated a slight tiny increase per season. But same thing with Schitt's Creek. Schitt's Creek had the same budget the whole time during the entirety of the show. And I just think it utilized it better. And like, I would love if for season 2 that there is budget on day of sound and for mixing the final. I would like that to have sound there. But I would also love to be able to see, and again, maybe this happens later in the season, I just haven't seen it. Less money on hotel rooms. I would like to see more money on actors. I think all the actors are great, but like we're seeing a lot of texting. I would like to see them have the actors that have been established have more scenes, and also maybe instead of like fancy penthouses and hotel rooms and all of that kind of stuff, I would like to see more crowd scenes. I know that happens in 3, but I would like to see more. It kind of doesn't even feel like they play hockey. It feels like they just live in an apartment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'd like to see more of their world.
Yeah.
And not just like watching it on TV with like pretty bad CGI. That's what I would like to see. Because it's not that it's low budget. It's just I don't like how they
the budget isn't being allocated in the correct in the ways. But
and it's also preference. That's like that's why it's not my show.
Yeah,
but like
I'm fine. I think because I watch soap operas and I see how like you have to stretch a budget for what you have. I'm fine with the way that it looks.
Mm-hmm.
I would prefer that money go to writing. Let's build out a writer's room.
Yes. I don't know why we hate writer's rooms. I just can't stress enough how great writer's rooms are. And I need everyone to know that like they're really great.
Mm-hmm.
You want to have writer's rooms. They're awesome. They're amazing. They're wonderful. And
how many writers do they have on the show?
I would guess 4.
One. It was all written by Jacob. So no writer's room.
I think he then did say that he said something either that he's bringing in people for season 2. I don't know if he meant for writer's room or for directing, but then I looked and he only assistant directed 1 episode, so that he must have meant for writing.
Jacob directed all the episodes too.
Oh.
He wrote and directed everything.
Oh, okay. Well,
so
then
good on him for doing what he could do with the limited budget. But yeah.
And he said that's his plan for season 2 is it's to expand all that. And the author seems happy, which is crazy because that never happens. Like, authors are notoriously, if they're not, I think she's an EP on it, as most are, but like, she seems pretty happy with how it turned
Maybe
out. And
she's taking it the way that the writer of Bridgerton took it, where she's just like,
you
it's its own separate universe, but also I'm over here making money. Why do I care?
And so and I think that the fans of the book seem also very happy. So like, I think he's done an amazing job, and like, I can't imagine how professional you have to be a gay man talking to a straight woman who wrote a book about gay romance, and like having to take her opinions on how that should be portrayed on film. I think a lot of people just probably wouldn't want to touch that, because like it's bridging from like a completely different world. And so I think he did a great job with it, and I can tell that he values sound, like music, which I think is great, because I liked the score of this. I've also never heard of the composer. Finally, we get some room for some new composers. But I have like incredibly high hopes for season 2, even though I haven't finished season 1. He also seems to like respect his actors, and like, unfortunately, that is in fact the bare minimum, and like it doesn't always happen. And everybody seems to have had a really good time. They had an intimacy coordinator on set, and like all of this, and actors seem to get along and all of that. And so I think that it's only going to get better.
Yep. Because I look back at like the first season of Scandal, when looking back on it, I didn't love it.
You also don't know how you're allocating the budget, how it's going to translate, and like what's going to be worth it. And it's like, oh, in fact, like, and I'm someone who like, I want scale. I want my budget. I want a zoomed out version. I don't ever want anything to just be close-ups, just be only 2 people. Like, give me some world. Show me some of that. Well, like you said, soaps are more so like that. And that was always my issue with like, I like loved TV shows that were like set like what was it? One one of my favorite things was when Disney Channel shows would do movies and they would like leave the set. Like, I like that aspect of it.
Or and I'm fine. Like, even with the series that I'm writing on now, the producer keeps going like, I don't know how I'm going to shoot that. I'm like, I wrote it so that you don't have to like zoom out on things. Like, it's and I was thinking while I was writing it, like how they do it on like Disney Channel or something, where we'll be at a baseball game, we'll be in the bleachers, we'll hear the game going, but you don't actually see it. And so like I wrote a T-ball scene, and there's another thing at softball. I'm like, we can put both of these at the same place, softball thing, the T-ball thing, but we don't actually see what's happening during the game. We're just getting the dialogue in the scene in the bleachers. She's like, okay, got
it's
that.
It's very zoomed in, which is it's what you do when you've got. It's what you do with the budget that you have, and then you use that budget for other things. It just so happens that I didn't need that nice of a hotel room. I didn't need that apartment or the restaurant where your dad with the lobotomy is asking what a video is.
But I feel like even like the restaurant stuff, I can tell that like a lot of the scenes that we see throughout are shot in that same place. They just decorated it different. So they were using the budget for what they had, for what they. So like, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, it's the sound for me. That's the only thing that
sound is something that I never feel like should be skimped on.
Never
ever.
And I unfortunately think is one of the most common things when you watch a season 1 of a show. You don't get it. We've even talked about it with the podcast from like very early on the podcast. It was like, even if we're making no money, we are paying to have good sound, because things are unwatchable with poor sound. But I will keep watching. You will keep watching. And I don't know that we'll do another episode. I guess if people want, we could technically do another episode, or we could just update people on what we think once we finish it on Don't Blame Me.
You're up next, though, to pick what we watch next.
What do you think? Do you want to do another?
I think if you watch, I would think it would be fun to hear the contrast with episode 3 compared to what we've already seen.
Okay, so should we just finish the series?
I don't know about finishing.
You don't want to finish it?
I'm just saying if we just did episode 3.
Oh, okay, yeah. Then let's do episode 3.
Okay,
I'm down. That'll be next.
We'll see. We'll text each other and see if we want to do the whole thing, but
Yeah.
I would love to talk about episode 3.
I'm so excited because Kyle's
Okay.
also been waiting for me to watch episode 3. So I will do that stat, and that'll be our next episode.
All right.
Woohoo!
I rate this 30 puck fucks. And the fact that that was never said, it
The
should have
puns
been
that
said.
come from like fucking and hockey are just like so crazy. I rate it a full mouth of teeth blowjob, which does feel like a missed opportunity for the sport that constantly has those front teeth knocked out.
That is actually brilliant.
Yeah.
Some people wear the little
Little flipper.
flapper things, flippers. They pop their flippers out.
And you know what that is?
And then
That's a
go
mouth
to
for
town.
sucking.
Mhm.
That's a mouth for sucking.
That is a mouth for sucking.
Maybe, and I have to say again, doth protest too much, the homophobia in here. Maybe it's the fact that none of you have teeth, and so all of you are taking those flippers out and sucking those dicks. So just got a question about it.
Oh, wait. Well, join us on Monday for Don't Blame Me. And then we'll be back next Thursday to talk specifically about episode 3, but maybe about more. Bye.
Bye.
This is a Sister Sign production hosted by me, Megan Rinks.
And me, Melissa D. Montz, plus Diamond Imprint Productions.
Post-production by Coco Lorenz.
Production assistance by Melanie D. Watson.
And music by Ryan Hunter and Giacomo Picasso.